Hey, Mike the Scrapping Guy here, and I'm going to show you in this tutorial video how you can create a charm bracelet or a necklace, and it's going to have kind of a 3D look with a little chain on it, similar to the one that I have here that you can see. Kind of has a neat little look to it, and you can use it to kind of spice up your digital scrapbooking layouts with some little bit of charm bracelet stuff. If you have a girl or something that needs this kind of a thing for a border or whatever, you can easily go and create one yourself. And I'm going to show you how you can do that. So let me go ahead and I'm going to minimize that, and I'm going to open up a blank file that I created, or a blank image that we're going to work on. And I have it set at 8 inches by 8 inches and 300 dots per inch. And the first thing I want to do is I'm going to create make it look black so I can easily see exactly what I'm working with. If I had on a white background, it might be a little more difficult to actually see what I'm doing. So I create that as a black background. And I'm going to go over and I'm going to create a new layer on top of that. I'm going to go back over to my swatches, and I'm going to make sure that the white colored swatch is selected on top. I'm going to go up to my marquee little drop down menu and make sure the elliptical marquee tool is the one that's selected. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and create kind of an elliptical circle here. And we can see we have the little dotted ants, or the marching ants, going around. And I'm going to go up and I'm going to say stroke outline selection from the edit drop down menu. And I have 5 selected. Now, depending on the size of the graphic of the dots prints that you're working on, you can adjust this. But I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's go make it 7. And I'm going to have it set up as white. So what that does is it actually creates a circle that is the white color. So I'm going to do. Let me go back out here so I can take a look at it. I'm going to hit Control D to deselect it. I'm going to back up over to my electrical marquee tool, and I'm going to create another elliptical circle, but this time I'm going to make sure that a little bit of it is touching the top of the other one that I created. So let me go ahead and zoom in. You can kind of see what I mean. Right here, these two are kind of overlapping each other, so we're going to connect those. So let me go ahead and zoom back out, and I'm going to once again go up to my edit, go on the stroke outline, and choose 7. Hit Control D there, and let me go and I'm just going to leave it at that those two alone, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as the actual necklace chain part of the necklace. So what I need to do is just go ahead and get my eraser tool, and I'm going to make sure that it is a solid selection. So you don't want it to be feathered, because we're going to go and just start erasing the white that we don't want. So let me go ahead and zoom in a little bit here. Back to my eraser tool, and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to erase. You scroll it up a little bit. The part that I don't want. And I'll get a little bit close there. Don't need to go too detailed just yet. And again here, I'll go ahead and get rid of that. You scroll over. Now you have to figure out how far over you want this curve to be as the finished part of, or actually the end of the necklace. So I'm going to leave a little bit there. Go ahead and just bring it to maybe like around there. Okay, so if you look at it, let me zoom out, you can see that our necklace, actually move it over a little bit. Whoop. Get the auto select. There we go. Our necklace is going to have this kind of curved look to it here. So the only thing I need to do now is just get rid of the little extra pieces that are in the middle there. So let me go ahead and zoom in. There we go. Go back to my eraser tool and just real carefully try to get it right to the end. Like so. And I can actually zoom in a little bit more on that. And click a smaller eraser, and I could use my bracket keys on the keyboard. Left bracket to make it smaller, right bracket to make it larger, and kind of make it look like it's one piece there. Now let me go down to the other one that's a little bit extra. Get rid of that. There we go. And you want to be a little bit careful. It takes a little bit of a steady hand, but once you get a little practice with erasing, then it'll be real easy for you. Let's go ahead and zoom out and take a look. Okay, looking at that, you can see it's a little bit bulged there, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to really slightly shave a little bit off of there. And once we put the embellishments or little charms on there, you're really not going to be able to tell anyway. As long as you get it looking pretty close to the way it should be. There we go. Now if I zoom out again, we can see that we now have our little necklace going around like this. Okay, now let's go ahead and add little charms to it. So with the white still selected, I'm going to go over to my custom shape tool. You might have the rectangular or one of the other tools selected. If you do, just hold on the left mouse button and go down to the custom shape tool. And when you go up to the top where the shapes, this is where you can choose the different ones that you want to use. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use start out with a little star. So I'm going to make sure the star is selected. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, with my left mouse button, I'm going to go ahead and drag a star out there. And you can see on the right hand side we now have a new layer called shape. And I'm going to come up here and I'm going to hit the simplify button. And I'm just going to go ahead and move it up kind of in the middle of the bracelet or the necklace, whichever one you're working on. And let me go and zoom in here. Now what I want to do is come over to my effects drop down menu or the effects menu. I'm going to hit the effects to show all of them. And I'm going to scroll down. Now this is going to be your personal preference. What you can do is you can check any one of these effects or these, they're styles, and pick one that you like. And you could mess with different ones. One of the ones that I like are the glass ones because it gives a kind of a 3D effect. So I'm just going to take, say, the plum glass one, bring it over, and you can see it's just kind of a white going to the darker as a gradient. But what I can do is click on this little FX button, or double click on it, and I'm going to change the bevel size to make it a little bit smaller. And as you can see, it's kind of giving it more of a 3D effect. And the reason was because the bezel was a little bit too large on that particular style. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, hit OK. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and duplicate that. So to do that, I'm just going to hit Control J. And if we look over, we now have a copy of that shape. And I'm going to bring it over. And what we can do is just kind of make it a little bit different. Give a little turn, make it a little bit smaller, and put it right in the center again. Hit the little green arrow to go ahead and select that. And I'm going to hit Control J on my keyboard again. That gives me another one. And once again, let's go ahead and turn it a little bit. Maybe go this way. Control J once more. Maybe make this one a little bit bigger. And we'll turn that one a little bit like this. And like I said, this is all up to you. In fact, let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit so I can get kind of an overall look. And Control J, select another one. Or create another one. And make this a little bit smaller. Let's turn this one. Control J again. And we'll turn that. And there we go. So there we have the stars and on the necklace. And what I can do is if you want to automatically select whatever you're pointing at or whatever it's going over, just go ahead and click on the auto select layer, put a little check box in there, and as you can see, as you go over the different elements, it'll automatically select those. And so you can make quick adjustments if you want them centered. There we go. Now we could easily leave it at that, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to add a couple more charms in between each one of those. So I'm going to make sure that the top shape is selected. I'm going to go back over to my shape tool, my custom shape tool, and let's pick something different now. This time let's go ahead and pick, let's see, let's do something simple like this. Take a look at that and see how that works out. So I'm going to go and create that as a shape. Once again, I'm going to go up and simplify it. And I'm going to come over and let's say this time we'll go ahead and choose the pink glass. And as you can see, it doesn't have that 3D effect, and it's because of the bezel again. So I'm going to go over, make sure it's selected, and double click the FX button, the little FX letters there, and I'm going to change the bezel to bring it down to give it more of the 3D shape. And once again, make sure the direction is set for up. I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to go and I'm going to turn this one a little bit, and let's make it a little bit smaller too. Just grab the little corner. There we go, move it where we want it. There we go. And again, hit Control J, makes a duplicate, and we're going to slide it over. Let's put it in between these ones. Whoops, I accidentally selected the necklace part of it, and that's again, when the auto select layer is selected, sometimes you'll accidentally select background items that you don't want. Just go ahead and hit Control J if that happens. So let's do this. Let's turn this around a little bit there. Control J again. Let's go ahead and bring that one over. This one will make it a little bit bigger. Center that. Control J. And what's really neat is you could do this with any kind of the shapes you want. If you're working on a St. Patrick's Day necklace, you can choose maybe like the 3-leaf clover, or the 4-leaf clover, or any of the other shapes that are in there. If you like horses or something, there's a lot of different shapes of animals and things. So it's really easy to make your own kind of design here. And let's just do one more. And circle that, spin that around. There we go. Let's take a look at this now. Pretty cool. Now once again, I can go and I can kind of adjust these to kind of make sure they're evenly spaced. Like so. That looks pretty neat. So the other thing that I need to do is kind of make this white line, which is our necklace, the kind of not just be a white line, kind of almost give it a little bit of a different look. So we're going to go back over to our effects styles, and this is, once again, you can choose whatever you like, and just to kind of see what has a neat effect. Like for instance, let's go and I believe this is some sort of a chrome, and put it right on there. Now what I'm going to do is zoom in. Oh, actually, you know what? I accidentally did it on that little charm there. We didn't want to do that. We want it to be on the, there we go, on the actual necklace. Now we can see that really doesn't give us too good of an effect, so I'm going to hit Control Z to get rid of that. Let's try one of the other ones over here. Let me scroll back up. I think there was one that's just called Wacky Metal, I believe, is this one. And it has a little bit of different effect. And once again, you can go and you can change some of the adjustments on it. And actually, that's not what I'm really looking for. So let me Control Z out of that. And what about this stucco? Let's see what that does. Whoop, on the wrong thing. Here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to get rid of the auto select. And I'm going to go down to my layer because it seems to be picking out everything. And I believe it's layer 1. In order to check to see if it's layer 1, if you didn't name it, you can just hit the eyeball on it. You can see how that one's disappearing. So we know that's the layer that we want to work on. So let me go ahead, I'm going to drag it over there. And actually that kind of has a neat effect that doesn't necessarily look like a chain, but it does have kind of a neat little effect that we can use. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave it at that. And there we have the design there. There's our necklace. And what I can do now is go ahead and I'm going to delete the background. We don't need that the black background anymore. And I got the one layer selected. I'm going to scroll all the way up. I'm going to hold the Shift key down, hit the top layer, so now you can see they are all selected. I'm going to right click and say Merge Layers. So now all of the charms and the necklace is on one layer, and you can see I can easily move it around like this. And I certainly don't need all of this space going around it, so I'm going to go and I'm going to crop it out. So I'm going to choose the crop tool, and I'm going to adjust it so only the necklace is selected, like so. That looks pretty good. And there we have it. There we have our necklace. It's kind of hard to see with the little checkered transparency thing behind it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit File, and I'm going to save it as a PNG file. Let me bring it over here so you can kind of see. Go over, say PNG. There it is. And I'm just going to call it charm necklace. Actually, I created one before, so I'm just going to call this one charm necklace 2. And have overlays as none. There we have it. So let me go ahead and just open up some sort of paper. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, this is a St. Patrick's one just to show you. But I'm going to go ahead now and open up the PNG file that I just saved. There it is. And what I can do, if you can imagine this is actually your layout, let me go and drag it onto there. And you can see that it is just the bracelet without any kind of background for your design. And there we have it. There is a real easy way to create a necklace type embellishment for your digital scrapbooking designs.